What's going on, guys? It's Winter Soldier, and today I'm going to bring you a quick guide on an easy way to improve your performance. Now, I'm not going to lie to you guys, I raided like shit this week. I was playing in Heroic Emerald Nightmare, and I did not bring my A game. So I figured I would use this as a learning opportunity for both me and you, and I'll take you through my steps of what I will do to improve my performance. So, other than recording your own gameplay, which kind of sounds silly, but if you go back and watch raid encounters, it's very obvious to you if you know your class, what you're doing wrong, and how the healers can heal you better. But I'm going to bring you through my step, which is logging. Now, if you guys don't know how to log, just Google it. It's easy to figure out. You just enable logging in your client. You enable advanced combat logging, and you upload them straight to Warcraft logs. You can even set them to private so that nobody can see them. So that's the first step, is you always want to log yourself, because logs will never lie. Sometimes SCADA lies, sometimes Recount will lie to you, it'll morph the DPS numbers. Logs will always be correct. So what you want to do is, and I'll go through an example of what I'm going to do here. So I'm going to go up to the top, I'm going to type in my character name here. Alright, I'm going to find myself on Storm Rage US, and this is going to bring me to my history of parses. So as you can see, on Nithendra, I have 3 kills. I do okay. 73% isn't where I'd like to be, but I'm still working at it. On Illigith, I died, so I'm not going to count that one. Ren Feral is just kind of a shit show, but again, I got to bring that back up into the purple. Dragons of Nightmare is kind of where I want to be. In previous expansions, I usually fall in the 80 to 95% range, so that's what I'm shooting for. But what you can see, I did real bad on Ursoc, which is a single target fight with predictable movement. So what we're going to do is we're going to go into the logs for this Ursoc fight here. Okay, this is the one fight I had. Obviously, I did it fucking awful. Alright, this is going to bring me to the guild I ran with. I'm going to come down to my name here. I'm going to click on that. That's going to bring me to the summary of what I did. Now, this by itself isn't super useful to us. Let me get rid of this check over here. There we go. It's not super useful to us. It shows you what you cast and stuff like that. And if you're a glutton for punishment, you can go in and you can see how many aim shots you can fit in this window, but it's a lot of math, and I'm not very good at math. So what you want to do is you want to scroll up, and there's this compare button here. Okay, and then you want to come down here, select yourself in the player list. Fight length is within 10 seconds of this fight. Okay. Raid size is 2 players or more, set to default. And the reason that's important is because bigger raids sometimes last longer, sometimes they have wonky things. So you want to try to set these as close to your environment as possible, okay? I'm going to set it to within 2 item levels of me when I did this parse, and I'm going to limit it to the last 28 days. It's safer to do it even less than that because there's a couple of buffs and nerfs, but we're going to set the metric to damage, and we're going to search. And what this is going to do is it's going to find all the parses on players of your class that are very similar to you. So I'm going to come down here, and it's going to show you their talents and trinkets. So I'm going to skip this first guy, who's number 1. So he was the same item level as me when he did Ursoc. The reason I'm going to skip him is because he has the 6-feathered fan, the spiked tongue, and a legendary, which automatically puts him at an advantage over me. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to choose somebody who is in relatively similar gear to me. I'm going to go with this guy, number 2 here, Guko of Bloodhoof. He has the spiked tongue, which I don't have, but that's not going to make a huge DPS difference. So you want to try to select somebody who is pretty close to you in terms of the same item level, the same raid size, about the same fight duration, and kind of the same setup, right? So I used Murder Crows. I don't have any legendaries. This guy doesn't appear to have any legendaries. You can even filter it by match percentage here, which is okay. I haven't really tried that out. I really like to go with the overall damage, though. So this guy is pretty close to me. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to click on him, and that's going to select him to compare to me. Alright, so as you can see, he is the purple lines and I'm the blue lines. So there is times where I was beating him on damage, but most of the time it looks like he was averaging a lot higher than me, obviously, because he parsed. Let's just go back here real quick. Hopefully, okay, shit. Alright, we'll go back and do this again real quick. That's all set. Good. Okay, so he ended the fight at 307,000 damage per second. I ended the fight at, I think, 210,000. So he's doing almost 100,000 more damage per second than me. So there's clearly I'm doing something wrong here. So we're gonna go into this compare page, and this is really what you're gonna notice the difference of. So first of all, you'd see that I cast 63 aim shots in 4 minutes and 20 seconds. He cast 90, which means that he did 27 more aim shots than I did, which that will do most of the DPS right there. I mean, his average hit on his aim shot is 30,000 more damage than mine. His average crit is higher. He cast it 27 more times than me. So right off the bat, I have to look at myself and say, okay, the first thing I have to do is I have to use more aim shots. All right. In the mark shot category, we're actually pretty even. He used 23, I used 23. I used 5 Murder of Crows. He used 5 Murder of Crows. He cast Windburst 12 times for a little bit less damage than I did. I only cast it 10 times. So I could probably fit in a couple more Windbursts in there. I'm sure we both could, actually. That's a Trinket proc. Sidewinders, he cast 28 times. I only used it 26 times. So it's not a huge difference, but I could probably fit in a couple more Sidewinders in my rotation. You'll notice that his potion did more than mine. That's not necessarily anything I can change. He was using the Fish Brule special food, which did him some damage, and he had the Mark of the Hidden Satyr on his neck, which did him some extra damage. So, right off the bat, I mean, the first thing we said is I gotta start using more aim shots, and that, in a fight like Ursoc, can be two things. It can be me just not paying attention when aim shot is up in a vulnerable window, and it could be me moving too much, or moving infrequently. So what I did is I looked at this, I said, alright, I gotta cast at least 27 more aim shots, which means I could probably use a little bit more haste. It looks like... well, we're good there. And so I gotta work on two things here. I gotta work on my movement, and I gotta work on my aim shots, because the reason my aim shots were so low is because I wasn't moving efficiently. I was moving too much, so I would cast Sidewinders, I would do an aim shot and a mark shot, and then I'd probably be moving when I should be standing still. So this is a really useful tool to me, because it's comparing me against somebody who is almost exactly like me in terms of gear. I mean, he doesn't have a legendary, I don't have a legendary. He doesn't have anything out of the ordinary. I mean, yes, he has this trinket, but, I mean, it only did about 4 million damage, so over the fight of 4 minutes, that's not too much to worry about, right? So this is a super helpful tool. So what I recommend, if you guys are struggling with your damage, if you have a basic understanding of the rotation, then just use this tool to figure out what you're doing, what you need to do differently, right? If you don't understand the rotation at all, please go back and rewatch my videos. I feel like I go pretty decently into the rotation, and then use this tool to fine-tune yourself. This is how you optimize. You get into the meat of what's going wrong with your rotation. So it's not only is it useful, because you see the Warcraft logs, you see these people pulling huge numbers, and you're like, well, how would I ever compare to those people when they're 20 item levels higher than me? But this compare tool is really the best. So now I know what I should be doing. I know what I need to work on, and I saw the effects of this almost immediately. So this is definitely a great tool to use. And if you guys have any questions, feel free to leave them in the comments. I'm not an expert with Warcraft logs, but I've been doing it for a couple of years, so I can help you out as much as I can. And as always, I hope you enjoyed the video, and like and comment and whatnot if you like the video. Happy hunting, guys.